옥정고 2학년 1학기 기말 2. 3월 19번.
Looking around the noisy cafeteria, Oliver gripped his tray tightly. He felt the heavy weight of being new to the school. Not knowing how the day would go made him feel anxious. He sat with a heavy sigh at a corner table. He thought, can I make it through the rest of the day? Just then, a plastic tray was placed down opposite him. It was a boy from his math class. Hey, is this seat taken? By the way, thanks for lending me that pen earlier. The invisible wall around Oliver seemed to melt away. Not at all, please sit, he replied. Starting to feel at ease, he smiled brightly at the boy.
3월 20번.
When moving into a new situation, many people decide that they need to master what's new. To this end, they reduce their connections to people or activities that might distract them from their goal. But that is a mistake. Being too focused can lead to becoming unidimensional. You have few remedies to the microstresses that are inevitably bombarding you at that time. So when things are tough during such a transition, you have almost nothing else in your life to counterbalance the stress. Instead of staying laser-focused, use this transition as the jumping-off point for building new networks to shape the work you want to do and whom you want to do it with.
3월 21번.
A first step toward establishing a respectful classroom learning community is acceptance of all ideas and answers. Regardless of any obvious errors, rich mathematical discussions cannot occur if this expectation is not in place. We must remember that wrong answers are often rooted in misconceptions, and unless these ideas are allowed to be brought to the forefront, we cannot help students confront their thinking. Students who are in safe learning environments are willing to risk sharing an incorrect answer with their peers in order to grow mathematically. It is important to model and expect the acceptance of all ideas without derogatory comments. As educators, we can model this by recording all answers to be considered without giving any verbal or physical expressions that indicate agreement or disagreement with any answer. The teacher may need to practice having a blank face. Students look to teachers as the source of correct answers. Part of building a safe learning community is to shift this source of knowledge to the students by equipping them to defend the thinking behind their solutions.
3월 22번.
The usual intercity traveler moves slowly through the station area. The passenger may not be familiar with the routine, have baggage to handle and check or retrieve, have a long wait for connections or delayed trains, and may require information, food, and a comfortable place to sit. Commuters, on the other hand, are familiar with the route through the station, have little or no luggage, and are usually in a hurry. They want direct access to or from local streets and transport. These two types of traffic should be kept separate to avoid conflict and confusion. In some large stations such as Grand Central Terminal in New York City, commuter and intercity trains arrive and depart on different levels. In smaller stations, separate platforms should be used and traffic routed so that the two lines of movement do not cross. In some instances, separate stations are in use. Clear and concise direction and routing signs and other means of channelization are desirable.
3월 23번.
Most performance lighting is made up of a number of different looks which we have called lighting states. Each lighting cue triggers a change to a new state. Like actors, lighting cues usually need a motivation. This might be something very obvious such as a cue required to brighten a room setting when an actor turns on a light switch or the rapid increase in intensity at the end of a dance number in a traditional musical, known as a button cue. At other times we will need a cue to provide a subtle change in atmosphere over a number of minutes, motivated perhaps by the mention of a sunset or the intention to slowly change the feel of the performance from normal to threatening. The question, what will lighting do for this production, needs to be asked for each moment of the production, each dramatic unit or scene, and each transition.